a wild card for me, and just maybe because there's certain artists that you just have a closer relationship with, so you like them a little bit more. Son of Sam is definitely in my top 3. My mother lived next door to him. My mother was pretty much the woman, was Mrs. Cleveland in the Dahmer case. That was my mom in the Son of Sam case.
Was it?
My mother lived in the same building as Son of Sam.
Oh, wow.
Yonkers, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
At the same time. So like I'm tied to David. We go back.
David. You remember when they had what was it? The Iceman?
Yeah, but
we was scared as shit in the Bronx of the Iceman. They took every newspaper had him on there. He looked like everybody in the hood.
But it ended up he lied about a lot of that shit. Like he was just a compulsive liar. He definitely killed a few people, but he was not what they said. Like most of the people he murdered, it ended up other people. And he was like a hired killer at one point. He wasn't like Son of Sam who just heard the dog barking and was like.
He claimed to murder over 100 people.
The Iceman?
Yeah.
Cops and even people post all this have said he's one of the biggest liars ever and really didn't kill.
He's the game of murderers.
Yes, pretty much.
The game.
And he name dropped mad people in the mob too. Like anytime he's like, Sammy the Bull, John Gotti. Right on the stand. Yeah. He is the game of serial killers for sure.
John Gotti interlude.
Yeah. And then when I watched the Son of Sam.
You saw what Michael Francesi said about him? He said he's a pathological liar. I spent 25 years in that life on the street. I never heard his name mentioned once.
Yeah.
You're not a serial killer.
He's the 6ix9ine of the serial killer game.
Oh my God! Remember the Hammer Man? You remember the Hammer Man?
I don't know.
Eddin. Oh no, Eddin was he was.
Well, did you guys watch the Son of Sam recent doc on Netflix? Oh, it's really good. I didn't know it. It really was not just David Berkowitz. There was like 4 or 5 of them. It was a whole crew, and they were tied to the Manson family.
Sick. Yes.
And my mom was in the safest place because he never killed anywhere near his crib.
No, you can't shit.
The safest place was to be next door to him.
Yeah. You can't shit where you live. You know that.
And I never understood why my mom, anytime like would get in a jam, couldn't be like, well, I live next door to Son of Sam. I heard the dog barking. You don't know where my thoughts have been.
That's some scary shit when you think about it, though.
For sure. Yeah, right on Pine Street.
That's the thing. When you living like in buildings and shit in the hood growing up, it's always interesting. Like you really don't know. Like aside from seeing your neighbors in the hall and passing and shit like that, you really don't know what the fuck they be having going on in their apartment
at all.
Like if your neighbors never like I'm talking about like on your floor next door, you've never like been in their apartment. When I was growing up, it was something weird about that because everybody in the building knew everybody. Mm-hmm. So if you never like went, you going to their apartment, like, yo, it's stinking there. I'm never going in their apartment again. Like,
but that's changed drastically. Like, and I don't want to say just with gentrification, but with neighborhoods, people come and go out of buildings way more than they used to.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Now you're like a creep if you even talk to your neighbors. It's like, what's wrong with that guy?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's just trying to get to know the person he's living next door to. like a sane human being.
Yeah, like I hear y'all fucking, or I might as well say hello when we're going to throw the trash out and I see you in the fucking compactor room.
John Wayne Gacy was touched upon in the Dahmer doc towards the end because he was getting lethal injection while Dahmer was locked up, and he was a sick fuck. He was a clown at children's parties, but he 30 plus victims, would go in costume and strip people naked, tie them up. In the show, they actually show him drowning a kid and like sodomizing him and then raping and killing him. So like that was his bag.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer went to the prison priest and was like, I don't think I'm as bad as him. Like, we're not about to compare this, father. Yeah, I hope they actually, well, I shouldn't say that. I hope they do the same television series about that clown guy. I didn't know much about him. He was sick as fuck.
They have some stuff on John Wayne Gacy, no?
Yeah, they definitely do.
Sure.
They have a bunch of documentaries about them, but I don't know about, like, I think this reenactment show is like a totally different format.
Yeah, Conversations with a Killer. That was their most this had a moment on Netflix.
Just because, I'm really into aesthetics. The Zodiac Killer definitely might make my top 5. Especially because he's never been caught. And he's
probably the most, aside from Dahmer, he might be the most popular.
I think it's Ted Bundy, Zodiac, Dahmer, or maybe Ted Bundy, Dahmer, Zodiac. Mm. But I met so many people today, over the weekend, who were like, I've never heard of Jeffrey Dahmer before this doc. And I'm like, how?
How old were they?
Because a lot of people are young.
My age.
Yeah.
But he got caught in 91, 92?
Yeah. But Jeffrey Dahmer became more and they kind of touched on it in the series, like more of a comic book punchline. Like it almost wasn't real. Like they would put Jeffrey Dahmer in with the made up, scary murderer killer people. Like, whereas Ted Bundy never was that. He was just like, oh, that was that serial killer. Jeffrey Dahmer really became a Halloween costume. Like no one dressed up as Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Richard Ramirez was another one of those guys.
Oh, the Night Stalker, yeah.
Yeah, they just had his story on Netflix a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I appreciate him repping for Eddin's
alma mater.
Yeah, he's like the Bad Bunny of serial killers.
Could that be murdering the pussy?
Excuse me?
So if you guys were to go down the murderous route, what would your calling card be to all your victims? Like Maul, would you drop a money bag on their index finger?
Are you asking what our branding would be with, our murders?
You know, would you?
Yeah.
You know,
I'll probably leave like a money bag and like a half lit joint in the ashtray, some weed.
Well, that DNA is probably all over that.
Yeah, but they got to find me to know who it matches to, right?
I'm sure they have your fingerprints in the system.
Do they?
I don't know. I'm joking.
I used to file my fingerprints like before they would take it, because I saw that in a movie once. Like just like take a matchbook and rub it on your fingerprints, and they can't find it. No bullshit. I did that one time. I got locked up.
Did they not know that those were your fingerprints? There's no way that worked.
Well, one time they said they couldn't.
That was like, drink a bunch of cranberry juice and the weed won't show up in your piss.
One time they couldn't get my print off my thumb. No, I know that. Like he kept trying to. It was like because it went from the ink to the electronic.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like every time I rolled my finger, he was like, "Are you pressing it hard?" I was like, "Sir, I don't know if you want me to press any harder on this." Like,
crimes must have been so easy when it was ink for a fingerprint.
That's why a lot of this shit
like,
I'm looking at now, like
shit so easily.
This would never happen in today's, because it's too much technology, there's too many cameras.
Oh no,
and people just have common sense. Like
he was at the bar, he would have been TikTok 35 times by the time he walked out of that place.
Like, who's here?
Yeah, like he wouldn't have made it to the first kill.
Yeah, Rory, like, what would your calling card be?
With me, it's tough because I wouldn't want to be compared to Chucky. Because they try to do something with the red hair and that. And first of all, I thought Chucky was weird because I would kick the shit out of a doll if it tried to kill me. Like I would punt that doll over my fucking roof.
Rory would just rub Irish Spring deodorant under the victim's armpits.
I could see that.
And walk out.
Yeah.
They were like, listen, he's dead, but he smells great.
Or like put a 4-leaf clover on their forehead for every kill. The Clover Killer.
The Clover Killer.
I think we're on to something.
That accent was great.
Oh man.
Well, we're not going to do that because I would be a terrible serial killer. Because like how nice the deaf guy was throughout the entire series. I was like, come on, Jeff, you don't see how beautiful this soul is? I would get halfway through it like, oh, he's too kind. Look at his eyes. Can't murder
the thought of just like sawing somebody and like cutting them up, that just takes a different type of mentality, bro. Like to cut somebody up and to carry their body parts into like a drum and just drop it in there, like, and then know that shit is in like downstairs. That shit is that's some crazy shit, man.
Is there really a hobby that people take roadkill and just dissect it in their house?
Yeah. Yes.
But serial killers
start.
No, I understand the serial killers that do it, but are there people walking around that are saying, hey, this is just my hobby and I'm not a serial killer?